What's up, guys? It's Cameron from these streets, third string guitarist of Lionheart, and this is the fucking Scoped Exposure Podcast, you bitch. Dude, you're my guy. Dude.
I'm your Canadian homie from up in Alberta.
My dear brothers.
My dear brothers. Yeah, without further ado, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. This is another episode of the Scoped Exposure Podcast. We go from Cal... I was like...
Sorry.
It's like you burped and then no sound came out.
Damn, really?
It was like... At least on my end.
Oh, I'm just trying to make your life hell today. Just kidding.
No, it's all good. But yeah, second round two, we have Cam from These Streets back on the podcast. Really, really excited. Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. Yeah, like I was saying at the top of the episode, the first time that I had you on, it was like we're still like very midst of the pandemic going on. These Streets was just putting out the new EP. And now, like, there's Northern Lines to talk about, which was like a huge momentous thing, especially for me, but I think also for Northern California. We got new These Streets dropping, I think, today, as far as when this podcast drops. That's what we agreed on?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And yeah, a plethora of other things. So I'm excited to have you back on, my guy.
Hell yeah. I'm excited to be on.
Looking forward to it. I think the first time, it's funny with some of these returning guests, some people came on kind of before the era of all the bevs. So I was listening back to our first episode today and I was like, man, me and Cam weren't even checking bevs at this point. So I'm,
We didn't check bevs?
No, we didn't. We talked about cookie sheet mosh, but no bevs.
Still have the cookie.
Yeah. That story is for that podcast. Like we won't have to retell it. You know, people can go and check out that older episode if they're intrigued about cookie sheet mosh.
Totally.
But Cam, without it's tradition for the guest to go first. So tell the folks at home where you're going to be sipping on for the episode.
I got a Coors Light.
He's gonna shotgun right now. This is Scoped Exposure Podcast first, people. Damn.
For the dead homie.
Man, you're you must have some kind of filter because I'm sure these burps would just be raging. Yeah.
They're not bad, dude.
Yeah, they're not bad. Well, I won't be shotgunning this, but this is what I'm drinking. No.
Just do it. Come on, dude.
I can't do this monster one. I gotta let it go throughout the show. I'm guessing you got a second Coors Light on deck. I don't. This is my last.
I could run and go grab one, but I think I did what I wanted.
You just want to get the bevs out of the way.
The bev is out of the way completely.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sipping on this Flume Puff Bar because I'm trying to quit cigarettes.
Yeah, a little vape check as well.
The vape check.
Yes. Well, you can now say you're the first person ever on this podcast to do a shotgun beer. So props to you, man.
Someone better step it the fuck up.
Come on, who's been slacking? But yeah, Cam, I'm really excited to be chatting with you. I would cheers you, but you've already shotgunned your drink, so I'll just like cheers for myself or for the screen grab, I guess.
Should I grab like two more?
Yeah.
And okay, so I'm gonna grab three more, and then at random points in this interview, you have to tell me to shotgun the beer.
Oh man. Okay, I will think about what triggers a shotgun while you're grabbing it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Do a little fast forward on the video.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do some for the audio listeners. It's just us. Cam's over there. I'm gonna do a little bit of self narration to bridge before this episode even starts. Let's see. Shotgunning a beer. What should be the? I think if we say the word mosh for whatever reason, or sorry, if Cam says it, that will be the thing, and I won't tell him, so he'll have to watch this back. That's the rules. You couldn't hear anything I was saying, right?
No, I was grabbing beer, dude.
Okay, so this is gonna be super fucking meta. I have a secret word, and if you say the secret word, then I'm just gonna I won't stop you because it will give it away, but I will say, oh, you said the secret word, and you have to shotgun a beer.
Something I would say.
It's a general hardcore term, so we'll see how quickly it gets to it.
Okay, I'm pumped for this now. Like,
I was doing the self narration, so I'm like, as soon as you watch this back, you'd be like, damn it, what was I getting myself into? Okay. Well, yeah, dude, I'm really, really excited to have you back. There's been a lot, like I said at the top of the show, that I wanted to chat with you about, new music, and I want to start with Northern Alliance first because that was the first it was the first show that Scoped got to film kind of in a long ass time. Like I don't want to say post pandemic because like people could still say that we are theoretically in that, but that being said, like that opportunity was like absolutely monumentous and super special for me, and the fact that we got to link up and do that together was like it's still crazy. So for those that
we even bunked together, dude.
Yeah, we did bunk together.
Don't forget that.
I never forget that. But for anyone who maybe has been living under a rock or hasn't seen all of the Scope content in the last couple months, can we just like break it down to the bare bones of what Northern Alliance was or is, and the why behind the idea of how that fest and how it came together, I guess.
So me, my good friend Ricky Trigger from Lionheart, my boy Troy, and my other boy Andrew, we came up with this idea to do an annual fest. We've done it before. We had a fest called Northern Alliance before. I wasn't really attached to it at the time, nor was the other two people, but it was Ricky's fest. But we kind of skipped a year or two, and then we decided to just book this. Or we got an offer to book a Madball show. I'm like, fuck it, let's just build a fest around it. But the whole point of it was like, we're going to have some good headliners, but we really want to just showcase all the great local acts that don't really get a lot of love from like the tastemakers, if you will, of the hardcore scene. So we just wanted to just put a bunch of cool bands that we think kick ass, and it really give them the opportunity to showcase their fan base and bring a bunch of different people out to shows as opposed to the same, normal, let's say 6 bands you see on every show.
Sure. Yeah, and I think like California is kind of an interesting pocket of hardcore because it is such a big state. It's kind of split up in that like Southern California and Northern California sectors. Obviously, I think Northern California maybe have gotten a little bit more attention with some of the bands that have been coming up in the scene and getting signed and things like that. But as soon as you told me like some of the why of like featuring the underdogs, featuring the bands that maybe don't have the clout or the hype behind them, but still kick ass, and definitely that was just such like a parallel to like what I do with Scoped is like, yes, we'll film like the giant bands that the bands that I know are gonna have the hits and the clicks on YouTube, but I also love to be able to give that same level of love to the smaller bands that like I'm being blown away by when I'm seeing them for the first time.
Totally.
Yeah. And when you were like curating that, like tell me about the timeline, because I think when I was like looking back at your when you were reflecting after the fest, you said it was like a 4-month idea. So like where was it like that's a very condensed time to book the scale of a fest that you guys did. So tell me about like how things like came together so quickly.
I want to say we started planning it in maybe March, late March, early April.
Mm-hmm.
And we had gotten the offer for the Madball show, or Ricky got the offer, and he just brought up the idea of making it what it was. And quickly the team got put together, and then we just started planning it. It was mainly just like first steps were grabbing headliners, and we got like some good ideas for headliners, and then we started booking the local bands. And then when the ball kept rolling and you know, Unity signed on and Madball confirmed and all that shit, that's when people started, we didn't have to try anymore. People were hitting us up to play the show. I mean, usually that's how it goes. I mean, there's bands who get asked to play shows, and there's bands who ask to play shows. You know what I mean? And so we were just like, how many bands can we let on this right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
we booked quite a few.
Yeah. Yeah. And which was great for me, especially not filming anything hardcore like live related for like over a year. I was like, oh, I can get literally like so much content in like a 3-day span. What was like that whole process of like being able to like you said, it was like, oh, now we actually don't have to go out and seek out bands. It's like now bands are just coming to us. Like that is more the that's what everyone wants with anything that they do in hardcore, is like versus trying to just like plead for attention versus like, oh, now people are just coming to me, which is sick.
Yeah. There was probably give or take 5 or 6 bands that just like hit us up relentlessly. We're just like, put them on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The band will message you and be like, hey man, if there's any room, we'd love to. And we're just like, yeah, you're on, dude.
Do you think that there's like a proper etiquette for stuff like that? Because I think it always it gets in a weird headspace of just like being a punisher and just like being overbearing. You know, like hardcore is all about like, you know, if there's a door in front of you, kick it down. But it's like, well, what if like the door is just like, you know, made of cement? You know, like there's like, you know, it's permanently sealed off.
The door is typically made of cement for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's such a hard thing, and it's like a give and take really when it comes to these types of situations. But we just kind of just like held the door open for anybody.
Yeah.
Not to say we put on like just like the most random people ever. They had to be like a legit band, obviously. Totally. You know, and I mean, you saw every band that played every day. You know, I don't think there was a dull moment, and every band brought something different to the table, and it was just really cool, and it was just a good vibe. And that was really the main part of it all, is just to have something that wasn't necessarily so embalmed in clout or hype, you know, not to say that bands don't want hype. I mean, every band wants hype, but it was just it was one of those things where it's like, let's just create our own conversation with the festival.
Yeah. And you know,
that's build a community and friendships out of a groups of people who don't think that those things exist.
Yeah.
For them.
I definitely, you know, I was hoping that you bring that up as far as like creating your own conversation. But before we hit that, I just wanted to, you know, another piece that we were talking about, you know, leading up to, I think it was like during the festival, you know, you were bringing up like a lot of the bands that got put on were like really young bands who had like, you know, a festival. I think the words you were using were like a festival is like, you know, that's where you like really show your game face. That's where you like bring your A game. It's not like the awkward, like, you know, just, oh, I don't know what to say in between songs. Like that is your time to showcase what you got. Do you want to break that down a little bit for anyone who's listening or watching that wasn't privy to that conversation?
I mean, there's bands who just rock. You know, there's bands who no matter what play the same set, and it's tight no matter what, and they put on a good show. But, you know, I think a fest, when you really think about it, bands who play fests have to oftentimes play a different set list than they normally play, usually shorter. So they have to go no holds bar the whole set.
Yeah.
You know, say they typically play a 45-minute set. Let's talk about like a headliner or something. Play a 45-minute set. They're playing a bigger fest than what they're typically playing. They're opening or playing midday on that fest. So they have to condense their set. They have to play a different set.
Yeah.
And they have to curate that set to this fest. And, you know, as for like these streets, I could speak personally for myself. Like when we play local shows, we just like to have fun. like to enjoy ourselves and we like to just party. I mean, you can see it from like our photos and videos and our content. Like it's just, and just me myself. I just like to have a good time. I don't really stress anything else. But you know, we played a different set that day. We put on our game face. We fucking went out there and we crushed. You know, whether people want to believe it or not, we played a really good set that day, and I'd take that to my grave. I literally like teared up after our set. So
yeah,
shit was badass, you know. But when you're playing a fest and you're up against all these bands, it's not really a competition. It's a team effort to make the fest great and to make the culture and the vibe of the fest great. And so when all the bands are out there just giving it 110, that's the best part of it. Yeah, I love all these bands like play different sets and like really just do shit differently. And it gives them sort of a different perspective on like, now they're playing to a lot more people than they typically would, and a lot different people. And the whole point of playing a fest is to play in front of different people. And when you're at a fest, especially with 2 stages and shit like that, your job is to turnover and create a turnover rate with people at the fest. You're trying to make fans. And people will literally walk up, and if you're bombing, they're going to go, I'm going to go find some shade now. You know what I mean? It's really in your hands on whether or not you create that turnover rate and create fans and create connections with people. Also, you know, being at your merch table, you know, hanging out with people, hanging out with the other bands, creating connections. It's just every band makes the vibe of the fest, and the vibe is 100% what matters the most.
Yeah, I guess it's really great how you broke it down as far as like if it's just like a 5-band show and you are a couple, like you're a part of a tour package coming through, you know, people could go take a piss or like take a smoke break. But when it's at a fest, it's like a long day's worth of show of band. So you almost have to like really, really win people over of like, hey, watch me at 3 p.m., you know, versus like I'm the last band or the second last band of the day and everyone knows my name. It's like, no, I'm going to make you know my name. I'm going to make you give a fuck about standing in the 110 Fahrenheit heat, you know? So
for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was real. I thought, you know, breaking that down is really important. I think about every fest that I've gone to, and there's always those standout sets of like, you know, while there was 2019, like Sedition played, huge response. Like Low End from Milwaukee was like, who the fuck was that band before us? Sedition? Like what the fuck? And so like, you know, there's always those sets that like really, and especially when you're maybe a band that doesn't play to the, you know, the normal or the most trendy style of heavy music, like, you know, like a band that really blew me away at Northern Lions was like Phobia, and they were the last band of the second stage, and then it was like all kind of like harder, heavy hardcore kind of bands, but they were playing this like crazy kind of grindcore that I was like just like blown away by. And you know, some people might have missed that because it's like, oh, it's the second stage, it's over, and now I'm just gonna, you know, just hit the main stage stuff. But like, you know, stuff like that really, really matters when there's that many bands at play, for sure.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I would say Phobia and us, because we played back to back, we probably had the hardest sets of the day because it was smack dab middle of the day. You know what I mean? It was the end of the second stage and the beginning of the headliners, if you will. So people are fucking, they're not even on their second wind yet. They're like resting for their second wind. So we had to give it even more, you know? I was out of my mind tired when we played. Yeah, I grabbed 3 beers before we played and didn't even make it through one. And drank like no stage water. I didn't even have a stage water.
Yeah.
I just fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, let's just go. Do you have a favorite and least favorite moment of that weekend, as far as like, you know, like, and I say that as someone who is like in charge of things at the fest, where it's like, oh, I have to help out with this thing, or like this moment was really, really special for me. Where does your mind go with that?
Favorite moment, I'd have to say just playing my set, because it was just like some sort of relief. It was like the big relief of the first day. The second day was very relaxed for me because I was just able to work the fest and just enjoy myself and do something smaller than, you know, running around playing 2 sets and also working.
Right.
You know, that was like a big relief. My least favorite part, probably like after the shows, because I didn't really get the experience of like hanging with everyone and doing the after show fun party stuff, because I was too busy like cleaning up, talking, handling business, doing shit I signed myself up for but didn't necessarily want to do in that moment, but I just did it anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't really get to experience the part of being a band at the festival
Right.
the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
I was too busy focused on the festival itself.
Yeah, I think like most things, it's always like, oh yeah, do you want to come and do like karaoke, or we're gonna go to this bar, and like all that is, you know, fine and dandy. But especially when I was down there, I was like, I just need to get as much sleep and rest as I can for the next day's worth of filming, and just running around. Because yeah, it's like, especially if you're like working it, whether you're doing like booking or filming or doing sound, it's like, you know, it's a long day of work, and you know, there's a lot of, you know, fights break out, shit gets spilt on shit, and yeah, it can be taxing at times. So yeah, some I haven't been able to have like a proper hardcore festival where I haven't been like involved in some way in like a long ass time.
I'm gonna have that soon. I'm going to FYA Fest, and I'm literally just like, we're renting a big old Airbnb for us and all the homies. And I'm just chillaxing the whole time. I probably won't even mosh. I'm just gonna mind my goddamn business, enjoy the cool bands, and just fucking chill, dude.
Yeah, I do have to let you know, you have said the secret word. So that, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is, because then it's gonna give it away.
It was fucking mosh, wasn't it?
I mean, I won't say no.
All right, then, fucker.
And you're like, how am I going to be on a hardcore podcast and not say the M word?
The M word. Good old M word. The hard M.
Hard M. 2 humps. Don't get it twisted. This is going to be screen capped of like what I post when this episode drops. I mean, this is, you asked for this, bro. Nice. I will say as well, before we get into our next subject, we're going to be having a soundboard for the podcast. We're working on that. It's coming to life. And I feel like I have to soundbite the cam burp, so we can just have that on cue at all times.
All right, let's go. How many I got left?
All right.
I got 2 left. So.
Okay, good. We're going to max out at 4. Let's go back to what you were saying about you know, creating your own conversation, because that's been something that when we were chatting in the hotel room, just like about different things in hardcore, that was something that you shared with me, and that has like really resonated with me in the last little bit since I've been home from the fest. And yeah, can you break that down just a little bit more of like what that means for you, and how you think that applies to Northern Alliance?
It should apply to everyone. You know, I think there's a create, like I just did a podcast the other day. I did the Getting It Out podcast. Who's calling me right now? Someone is calling me. No, not right now. Okay, I did a podcast the other day, and we were talking about. He had asked me about all the California shows that happened post-pandemic, and he was just talking about that festival that's going to happen in Pennsylvania later this year, the winter something with like Rude Awakening, E-Town Concrete. And he was like, yeah, it's not going to sell out, man. People don't give a fuck here. It's like people are still focused on the West Coast, and I'm just like, dude, brought me right back to that. The whole point that we're talking about right now is like, dude, yeah, Drain, Tsunami, Gulch, Hands of God. The Bay Area is cracking. We get it. You know what I mean? It's amazing for them. And they're truly in their moment right now, which is tight. LA hardcore, Section Hate, Law of Power, Pull Your Card, Frostbite, all these cool ass bands. They're having their moment right now. Everyone's watching, and everyone's like weirdly jealous, and they're like flying out to California for all these shows, which is tight. Come out, come party, but don't like go back to your hardcore scene and fucking cry because it's so popping in the Bay or it's so popping in LA, and just do nothing when you go back home, but like hype other people up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's fucking cool hardcore bands everywhere. Like I'm from the Central Valley. We've always had a very small niche hardcore scene, very violent, very crazy people. And it's never really been able to grow or have the hype or whatever that keeps things as crazy as like it may be for the Bay, which is tight. I like it small, whatever. But you obviously want things to grow. But there's like all these bands from like the Central Valley, Sacramento area, like Kind Eyes, Mescaline Maniacs, Disperser, Rise and Strike, Sissy Fit. There's all these cool fucking bands that exist, and it's like they're all so hyper. Like we need to play the Bay. We just need to play the Bay. It's like, bro, they're not gonna like book you unless you make something of yourself where you are. You know what I mean? If you're hyped, they'll be like, yeah, we'll take a chance on your show. We'll book you guys. We'll see how it does. You know what I mean? But like everyone's so hyper focused on being a part of something that they don't exist in. That's not theirs. You know what I mean? I don't sit here and cry because These Streets isn't on the Tsunami Drain Gulch massive 2,000 people show. You know what I mean? That's the Bay Area scene, and we're from the Central Valley. So creating your own conversation is just like not being jealous or weird about other people having their moment. It's just about like creating your own moment. These Streets had 1,000 great moments. You know what I mean? There was a point in time where These Streets played fucking wild, what may be considered hype ? Shows, but I never really cared about that, and sometimes those things get to people's heads and they get a big head, and that's fine, whatever, have your ego. You'll get humbled eventually. You know what I mean? Hardcore ebbs and flows so crazily that like one scene will be popping and then another scene will be popping, and it's just like it all comes in waves, dude.
Totally. Yeah.
It's like the main reason why everyone's confused about the Gulch breaking up.
What do you mean by that?
Dude, I've seen so many people like, why is Gulch breaking up? It's just like, dude, they are literally that self-aware to know that their moment is here right now, and they're going to make the absolute best of it and juice it, but they're not going to they're not going to like overstay the welcome and let it be something that it wasn't. And I think that's fucking brilliant, and it's really commendable.
Yeah.
They're not focused on the hype. They're not focused on any of that. They never even expected any of it to fucking happen, but it happened.
Totally.
Happy it happened, and they're living in that moment, but they're just self-aware about it.
A couple things that I just want to call back to, and then we'll kind of continue on the create your own conversation. But when I was getting into hardcore, something that like I was like a little ass kid, I think I was like 15, 16 years old, and someone I looked up to, shout out to Chris, he was like, I need to share a reality with you. Every band you love is going to break up at some point. And I was like, oh, well, okay, of course that makes sense and whatever. And he's like, no, like it's going to happen. It's going to come out of nowhere, and that's just like the reality. So there on one hand, it's the aspect of like not taking things for granted, jumping on the opportunities you can to see as many bands as you can while they're around. And just like the reality of like, yeah, like every band can be hot shit and then gone within a month, like so to get a big head and a big ego because like you did things in a certain year, but then you haven't done anything for 3 years is like, come on. But going back to my friend Chris, when he told me that, I was like, oh, okay, I guess so. But yeah, whatever, Chris. And then like literally a month later, like Under Oath was a huge band for me growing up. And they like, that was like when they first called it quits. And I was like, how you're Under Oath? How could you call it quits? But again, it's like that thing where it's like Gulch is like self-aware that they started this band. Cole, who came on the podcast, was like, no one even watched us at our first show. Like, not even our friends watched us at our first show. And now it's become this behemoth, and they're almost like slaying the dragon before it can take off into the sky and become this thing that they can't even, that is beyond their reach. And, even like Joseph from Tsunami, who came on, like, he was very honest and upfront on how Tsunami was like just supposed to be a local or regional thing. And now there's people literally all over the world who are like, I'm not from the Bay, so I'm a bitch and I live in London, England, or whatever it is. So it is crazy that, bands, to see some bands now that are getting so much hype that they almost have to like, okay, we have to shut it down and like, end on a high note versus just like trying to maintain something and then it like falls flat over a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, you either kick ass and really hone in on that, and everyone in the band is ready for that next step.
Yeah.
Or you're just not, and you just got to be smart enough to play it right. That way you don't fuck up that next step. Gotcha. You know what I mean? These Streets has committed career suicide like 3 times. Like, that's not a joke. Like, we've been on bigger labels and we put out bigger releases, and we were being told to tour around them and promo them the way the label wants us to promo them. We've had booking agents that have told us not to say things and when to announce things, and it like sucks the fucking fun out of it. You know what I mean? It's heartbreaking in a way. You're like, this is the reality of being in a fucking band. And like, everybody wants to be in a band, but nobody wants to be in a band when it's not fun anymore.
Totally. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, These Streets has never really broken up, but we've like taken 6 to year-long hiatuses,
6 months, not 6 years to 1 year is what you meant, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever. We've taken the breaks we needed to reset and reground ourselves. And it's strange to look at it the way we've done it, because like, analytically, we've just only grown as a band. We've never experienced the valleys or the lows or anything. We've only just gone up. Also, we've been a band for 8 years, and the metrics have changed every year on what success is. So we don't even know what we're doing half the time, but we just have fun with it. We don't have a fucking booking agent anymore. We work with Upstate Records, but we hardly have a label. You know what I mean? Upstate is so hands off, and we're so hands off. We just like let it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just no stress to it for me anymore. And that stress of being like, having like, when it turns into work and you're not actually getting paid for it, it makes it not fucking fun anymore. And a lot of bands aren't ready for that reality.
Yeah. And that's a huge point. And it's not to say that if a band is signing to like Pure Noise, where it's like, actually your job now is to be a band and tour and do all these things. And I definitely think that there is value in like going out, putting your name out there and grinding it out. But if you're like if your, hardcore day is traveling, getting to the show, doing all that stuff, and the only fun that you're having is in that 15 to 20 minutes of you playing, maybe something's off. Maybe you need to have some kind of like rejigging of the things where it's like you either have more control or you have less control. Like, some people want to, you be the booking person, you be the manager, you handle like the things that are stressing me out, and I just want to play and hone my craft and be creative. But at times, because hardcore is as niche as it gets, you have to work hard and do some of the nitty gritty work, because like it's a privilege to just like to have a manager or whatever it is.
Totally. And don't get me wrong, booking agents, managers, labels, they do great things for bands.
Totally.
Sometimes. But you have to be a certain level of down to be in a touring band. Like, Knock Loose didn't get to where they're at from just like hype on the internet and people sharing their shit. That band fucking toured their asses off.
Yes.
They started around the same time These Streets started. And they are like the biggest band in the fucking world, but that's because they literally toured endlessly.
Yeah.
And for these streets, that's I mean, for most bands, that's fucking impossible, dude. Like, we have lives. We have fucking, most of us have, all of us live on our own. You know what I mean? Like, we have to pay fucking rent.
Yeah.
You have to be so down that you have to like be like, and your parents have to be down for you too. Because honestly, bro, you gotta live with your parents for touring like that.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have something cush set up, or your band must be making some buku bucks to be able to fucking just tour like that and take L's until you start taking W's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why you see bands touring with like scabs half the time. You'll see bands that will have like 3 members who aren't actually like in the band. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, dude, to get 5 people who all have it set up, and not necessarily, you don't necessarily have to live with your parents, but to have it set up or to have a job that allows you to economically afford touring and taking the L's, playing the Omahas on Monday type shit that you gotta fucking do to like be big eventually, hopefully, maybe.
Yeah.
Question. You know, you got to find 5 people who are all that down and have it all set up is fucking damn near impossible. You show me 5 people,
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any band that is at a certain level has worked tirelessly to get to that level. Like, you don't have to look very far to find the Knocked Loose community center sets where there's like 15 people there and they're playing stuff off of pop culture. Like,
I drove like 2 hours to just roll up to a Knocked Loose show in Fresno in like 2015, I think it was, in Fresno, and there was like 20 paid, including the bands. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I was just like, I just remembered Knocked Loose because we played a show with them, and they weren't even in 2015. They weren't even who they are yet.
Right.
They were playing the same level of shows These Streets was playing at the time too. Like, they were just getting out there and just grinding, you know. And to see where they're at now, like, I could see how they got there, and it's beautiful that they're there, and they're like the coolest people in the world still.
So I'm going to use this in a way to fully circle back to our like create your own conversation topic, because like you were saying, like, California, the Bay Area specifically, has a lot of eyes. They're having their moment. But a lot of people will just be like, oh, well, I'm just from so-and-so state, or I'm just from Western Canada. I'm just from like this.
I'm just a bitch.
What's that?
Well, I'm just a bitch, dude.
Well, I'm just a bitch. that isn't from the Bay. But no, like, straight up, I do think that a lot of people look for, well, what can I do about it because we're in this state. And you know, for me, it was like, that was a huge reason why I wanted to start at Scope. I saw a gap as far as like filming bands just started. I didn't really have a game plan of how big this shit was going to get. I had no idea of like some of the opportunities. I just wanted to try and do something, thinking that maybe it would help someone else to some degree. And then just a few years later, you know, now we're coming up on like 4.5, 5 years of doing this shit. And like, some of the craziest opportunities that I've had in hardcore have been through this means. Like, you know, like, no, like, for us to be able, like, I love the serendipity of like having you on the podcast, being a fan of your band and who you are as a person, then Northern Alliance happens. And to think about like some of the, you know, seeds and conversations and little things that will trickle down and then become other things, other opportunities, other bands coming up here. Like, that shit is crazy to me. And again, it boils down to like, I'm just this kid from Calgary, Alberta. Like, I really have no business to be able to go down in the midst of like a pandemic to California to film 35 bands. Like that on paper doesn't make sense, but here we are, you know?
No, but that shit, you do have business doing that because you're just down. And that's really what hardcore is all about, just being down. Being down for helping people out, being down for having someone crash at your house, being down to come and film fucking 38 bands over the course of 2 days, no break. Like, you're a psychopath. But I think everybody in hardcore is a psychopath to an extent.
Yeah.
It's kind of the point.
I just like the idea of just be down to, you know, book a show that you know you're gonna lose money on, be down to like pick up a camera and take photos, be down to, you know, play in a band with your best friends and go to like other parts of the world. Yeah, I think that's a huge thing because like a lot of things in hardcore, just to remind everyone who's listening, like don't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense for you to get in a van and like drive and play a show to like 40 people. Like if you were telling your, you know, yourself 5 years or 10 years in the past, you'd be like, well, is that making you money? Is that like, how is that helping you? It's like, you know, this hardcore for me has always been like people powered. And, you know, I think being able to take it upon yourself to start that if you're in a scene that, you know, isn't thriving, and being actually the change that can actually spark, you know, Knock Loose was the band to kind of like bring back what, you know, Louisville and Kentucky hardcore could be. And, you know, that applies to, you know, to anywhere you're from. So, you know, all it takes is like one band, one person that is just a little, you know, psycho when it comes to what they want to do in this shit.
Yeah, just be down for whatever. Take your L's. I've taken 1,000 L's, but I've also taken 1,000,000 W's. That will only be understood and registered in my brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hardcore is what you give, and what you give is what you get.
Do you think that people in hardcore they overvalue an L? So what I mean by that is like, I have found that people don't try because they are fearful of failure. But like you were saying, I think winning and losing is all about ratios. I've put myself out on this podcast, done playlists, filmed bands, and I've lost. Like I've fucked up an audio recording. I've fucked up a live set. I've missed appointments. I've done that. But the ratios from my L's to my W's is like, you know, it's way over on the W side. So I'm curious on what your thoughts are on that.
I don't even think about that. There's no point. Do what you think is right. Always.
Okay.
Be people's friends.
Yeah.
Let them crash on your floor, and let them have the last of your shampoo. Fuck it, dude. Like everything in life is fleeting. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I say that I've taken 1,000 L's, but I couldn't name any of them because I don't care about them.
Sure. Yeah. Not trying to overvalue them.
Yeah. Like, so when it comes to overvaluing L's, I don't know. Like, I probably took 20 L's on Northern Alliance in ways. I don't know. You saw me after every day, and I was just like thinking about everything and like thinking out loud. I was like 1,000,000 miles per hour. You know what I mean? But now, almost 2 months later, I could give a shit.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. Like I think like,
but I have the laminates and the photos and the full set videos to claim his dubs. How many sets did you film?
35, I think.
35 dubs.
35
right
dubs.
You were there.
That clearly outweighs the 20 L's potentially.
You were there. That's 36 dubs. These streets played. That's 37 dubs. These streets had a good set. That's 38 dubs. You know what I mean?
No one died. 39.
Well, debatable. I have not gotten an update on that one chick.
Yeah, the one girl that
the biker hooker chick literally died.
Yeah, that might be an L, actually, not a.
I walked up and it was like, "Yeah, dude, this chick just like took a hot one and died." I was like, "What?" The next thing I know, she's like fighting the fucking EMTs. I'm like, "Dude, what is going on?"
Yeah,
and she sped off on her motorcycle like nothing happened.
Oh, okay. Do we want to talk about this or do we want to avoid this?
I don't care. There was like 500 people there that saw it.
Okay, so I'll break it down a little bit. I definitely want to talk These Streets music, but you know, since we're on the topic, so if you've been keeping up with the Northern Alliance sets, if you watch the Lose None Northern Line set, you might see a biker
Okay, yeah, lose that.
lady who was clearly very intoxicated, having a good time. But like in that realm of like standing on the stage, and I forget the dude who sings for Lose None right now. Is his name Jacob or something like that?
His name is John.
John. Okay, I was in the realm of Jays, so shout out to John. He I saw his
Good sport, huh?
What's that?
He was a good sport, huh?
Yeah, he was like, I could see his frustration of just like, I don't want to just like shove this girl off the stage, because like not only is it a girl, but it's also someone who's intoxicated, but it's also someone who's like affiliated with the biker bar that we're all playing at. So it was like a lose.
What a shit show!
It was literally like a lose all situation. So you can watch that set.
Mosh.
I was like, I have been thinking this whole time, like, have I missed any? But you just purposely did yourself. This is a great podcast.
I hope you really think so. I'm having a great time.
Okay. But then, so Lose None plays. It's a little bit of a fiasco. John's trying to deal with it as best as he can. Hoods is next. Hoods is like the one band that literally every local person has been hyping me up. It's like, oh, you get ready for the Hood set. It's going to be crazy, playing in their hometown, So they play, and then like into the first song, you see that crowd of people, like someone had fallen down or something, and you find out through the, you realize that it is this girl that who is like clearly like, out of her mind. Show stops for 30 minutes. Is that safe to say?
Let me stop you there real quick.
Yeah, please.
She wasn't affiliated with the bikers.
Oh, okay.
She used to be, and she was apparently supposed to not even be let into that bar ever again.
Because of this?
No.
Oh, this is a previous thing.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. I really love that we're unpacking this mystery. So the show stops 30 minutes. Is that fair to say? We're delayed 20 to 30.
Time is a construct I don't believe in, my guy.
So 20 to 30 minutes. Show resumes because I think she finally comes to and she gets let off. But I could tell that she was physically like, get off of me and things like that. And then I think it was Zach. Shout out to Zach, Goth Boy. Zach
Goth Boy clicks 444.
Follow the damn guy.
Follow Zach.
Follow Zach. Follow Zach.
That has to be the clip for the.
I'll send it just to him so he can have it on his own. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. So EMT comes. And then Zach told me that she got on her bike and rode into someone's car. And when he told me that, I'm thinking like, like a single speed something, because I'm just from Canada and we don't like motorcycles aren't a common thing. But it sounded like she was on her motorcycle and crashed into something.
I don't know. The second she left the premises, I was very hands off about that one.
Yeah, you're like, it's out of my hands.
She didn't want the EMT's help? All right. Be about your business. But as far as I knew, she took a hot one, hit her head on the concrete, and there's blood everywhere.
Yes. There was a lot of blood.
I didn't see any of it.
I think it was cleaned up by the time everyone came. I love how just Mikey Hoods was just like, everyone stay inside, do this. And then it was like, everyone get the fuck outside. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just outside like, what is going on?
Yeah. I was getting like multiple messages like, when are you posting Hoods? I'm like so excited for this. And I was just like dreading editing it because there was so much stop and go because of all of that.
So what I edited the Lionheart video too.
Yeah, which has yet to come out. But
part of it came out.
Was that?
Part of it came out.
Oh yeah. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, highly recommend people go check out the Northern Lion sets regardless. Maybe we'll use that, clip that you were saying in a way to transition. Because I definitely would want to chat some These Streets shit. So you guys have an album that just dropped today. That is
today.
Today. So it's a collection of I guess is it fair to say it's a collection of we got the CD?
Today. It's out for everyone. Get it.
Tell the folks at home a little bit about it. It seems to be like a collection of Expect the Worst and Roll the Dice, which is all the new shit kind of on one thing.
Kind of.
Okay, break it down, correct the record, whatever you gotta do.
So it was supposed to be a dual LP situation. It was supposed to be Roll the Dice, ... Expect the Worst. But those vinyl press plant times really suck right now.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking at 14 to 16 months to get our vinyl. So we just said, fuck it. Let's just put it out as an EP. Don't do the dual LP thing yet. So here it is. These Streets expect Roll the Dice.
It's sideways.
The light from my webcam in it. It's a nice jewel case.
Oh, you're really showing it off now. Who did the art? I did have that question because it was really sick.
His name is Riley Herrera. He owns a brand called Learn to Forget. Check out Learn to Forget. Really cool brand. But instead of doing a dual LP situation and putting Expect the Worst on the A side, Roll the Dice on the A side, Expect the Worst on the B side, we ended up just doing a CD and a digital release. But on the CD, the second half of it is all never before heard demos and B sides.
Oh, okay.
So there's four songs on the B side, or AKA tracks 5 through 8, or 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I dropped out of high school. Me not so good at math.
Me no good at math.
I
think you mentioned that on the last podcast. You really like to fly the flag of not knowing math very well.
Oh, I know math. A squared plus B squared, it equals C squared, my guy.
Okay.
That's the Pythagorean Theorem.
Pythagorean?
Do you know about the Pythagorean Theorem?
I do.
Okay, cool. Anyways. Someone hit me with that question once. Do you even know what the Pythagorean Theorem is? And I was like, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, dog. And he was like, what the fuck? And I'll never forget it now, ever in my life.
Someone asked you that at a show?
No, not at a show. I don't remember where it was. But anyways.
Could you imagine going to someone in between bands? Do you even know what the Pythagorean Theorem?
I'm about to start asking people during our set.
Can I get a Pythagorean Theorem?
If someone tells me what the Pythagorean Theorem is, they get a free shirt. And they get punched in the throat. Being a nerd. But yeah, it comes with... It's 4 new songs. And then 4 B-sides. One being... Well, 2 of them being 2 of the demos from Expect the Worst that had Izzy, our old second singer, on them when we were doing more of a Linkin Park vibe. Trying weird shit out. Then there's the demo of the song Bound to Break with the original ending breakdown without Darius from Spite.
I see.
It's actually a completely different breakdown.
Oh.
So that's out there. And then there's a demo of a song called Innocence that was on our record Out of Time that I find to be the better version of the song. Sometimes when you make demos of things or pre-pro things, there's something about it that you can never reproduce when you do the final product.
Yeah.
And this demo happens to be one of those times where just the demo was better than the final song. So when we were thinking about doing the CD, we were like, well, we don't want to do a 4-song CD. That's actually a waste of plastic. We'd actually just be doing more harm to the world.
Right.
Put out 4 songs on a CD to get tossed in some fucking, use CD bin at FYE.
Right.
But yeah, 4 new songs. I'm pumped on it.
Yeah. And at the time of the recording this, well, the whole thing will be out at this time, but you guys have
Yes, it's
dropped
out today.
It's out today.
Buy it.
That was so loud. I'm gonna have to like decrease that so it's like negative 30 dB.
Buy the fucking record.
Thank you.
Buy the fucking record now.
We really need the ASMR
Yes.
call to action.
ASMR these streets. Should I ASMR shotgun right now?
Take the risk.
Should I do an ASMR shotgun?
Sure. You're just looking for a reason. I was like,
Well, I thought I was doing a podcast, but it turns out it's a normal
it's just
Saturday night for your boy.
it's just a Tuesday.
Well, it's Friday. Since it's coming out on Friday, I have to treat it like it's a Friday.
Sorry. I broke the veil.
And Fridays are for the boys. So are Saturdays.
What about Sundays?
It's for your family, dude.
It's for your family. That's actually true, though.
Every Sunday, my mom has a family dinner. Anybody's invited. My friends, anybody.
What's the best thing your mom can make for food? What's her specialty?
She got a pretty weak flavor palette. She doesn't like spices and shit, so her meals are pretty. Oh, my mom's not listening to this right now. Fuck. My mom's meals are pretty bland. But she makes a mean beef stroganoff, dude.
Oh, my mom's listening to this. No.
She is it. Good thing my mom doesn't give a shit.
Oh, man.
All right, ASMR shotgun.
All right. Let's all be quiet for a second.
Scoped exposure.
Hold on. You got to use this for
a clip?
No, for the what's it called? The bumper?
The teaser?
The teaser?
Or the intro?
Yeah, wait for it. All right.
What's up, guys? It's Cameron from these streets. Third string guitarist of Lionheart. And this is the fucking Scoped Exposure podcast, you bitch. I got Coors Light on my MacBook.
Oh, man. This might be one of my favorite podcasts that I've done this season.
Dude, people are too fucking serious, dude.
Hello, Batman. Why so serious?
I got Coors Light on my MacBook.
You gotta clean that up.
I had to ungentrify this MacBook real quick. All right. We're good, dude. I'm straight.
Okay. I was like, do you need a bag of rice or anything?
I need a bag of something.
You do.
All right, let's go.
All right.
What's up?
I'm like, what were we even talking about? We were like talking about
Does it
your
even
mom's
matter?
cooking.
I thought we were just hanging out.
Oh, yeah, we are hanging out. We were talking about your band and the new music that's out today.
Oh, yeah. Roll the dice.
Yeah. So you guys put out Take the Risk.
It's out today.
Is that today?
I don't know where the album art went at all.
Yeah. I just saw you throw it, and now it doesn't have the...
Oh, Spencer!
What's even happening right now?
Everything. All at once.
This really makes me wish that we were in person to do this call, because it would just be like more just throwing things against the wall than.
Now I'm getting high. Let's fucking bomb this. Let's go.
So, do you want to talk about the other tracks that at the time of recording this aren't out, but will be out as far as today's concerned?
Let's talk about anything you want to talk about, my guy.
Well, yeah. Tell me about the other songs. What are they called? Because it'll be out by the time this is out.
The B-sides or the normal ones?
The new shit.
4 bangers. All right. This shit's hard as fuck.
Okay. Hit me with it.
It's literally music to punch your fucking family members to.
On Sunday.
Like Yeah. Like at whoever's wedding you got to go to, tell the DJ, request These Streets Roll the Dice in its entirety.
Front to back.
And then start fucking maiming your family. Just hurt them all. But
Mom,
no.
you don't use enough spice.
Mom, the meatloaf!
Oh man.
Oh, this is so good. Okay.
Okay, track 1.
Track 1, Good Night, featuring Lil B.
Who's Lil B?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh no. I'm angered the beast.
What kind of podcaster are you? You didn't do your goddamn research, brother?
To be fair, I was like, Canadian. Send me the music so I can listen to it in advance, and you didn't do that.
Dude, you know you gotta hound me.
Okay, well that's true, but I didn't.
My phone's probably more popping than Paris Hilton's. That's a fucking joke, honestly. Lil B is a rapper. He is a Bay Area hyphy rapper, a legend.
Okay.
True, a fucking legend. Maybe one of the first meme humans.
Did you say meme humans?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but
like someone whose whole like internet persona is a meme.
Okay.
Like a riffraff.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
You're aware of riffraff, right?
Yes.
Up there.
My main goal is to blow up and then act like I don't know nobody.
Yes. Like riffraff. I mean, Lil B was this Bay Area hyphy rapper, and then he started just like making his own rap and doing this whole based. Dude, his whole fucking thing was a movement. It was kind of like the tsunami of rap.
Okay.
That's next level. I might be drunk, but that's next level right there. He had this dance. It was called cooking, basing, chefing, swag. Bass God, swag. Thank you, Bass God. You're gonna look this shit up and just like get what I'm saying. It's gonna make sense.
I will after.
Promise.
Absolutely.
So he like did this whole thing with rap where it was like a fucking meme. It was like a joke. It was like really. Let me choose my words carefully here. Not saying Tsunami makes bad music, but Lil B made really bad rap. I don't want to compare Tsunami and Lil B in that way.
You want to sever that tie before that comment.
Yeah, really bad rap music. Like you're gonna listen to it and be like, "Oh, this is actually bad." But he put out like mixtapes like every other month.
Okay.
It's just like young bass God bringing swag while I'm cooking. Like it don't make sense. I promise, dude. It was just bad. And then his Twitter was crazy. He followed everyone back, which is how he got him on this song. I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he was a meme rapper. He was funny. He made like self-help books.
Okay.
People still don't know how to dictate whether or not he was serious or not for any of it. But yeah, Lil B, Bass God. Thank you, Bass God. Swag. I had to send him feet pics of myself in order to get the feature.
That's how we wanted to be compensated?
Correct.
Is he a foot guy?
He's a foot guy.
Oh, he's very okay.
If you look at his Instagram, it's all like feet pics that say Lil B on it.
Interesting. Oh, did you have to go Toy Story and write Little B on your foot before you sent the picture?
I actually didn't pay him with feet pics. He just always posts feet pics.
Come on, man. That's what we're running with for this.
I thought it'd be a funny joke. No, it was pretty inexpensive, but good guy. He was down. Who the fuck? Why are you trying to call me, bruh?
If they call back again, you can take it.
No.
And talk to them on the
it's a random number. It's like a robocaller. Hey man, let's talk about your car's extended warranty. Fuck off. But yeah, he was really cool. He read my DM because he followed me back on Twitter a long time ago. like 2009. This fool followed me back on Twitter. He read my DM. Said he was down to get down on a punk track, and I said I didn't want any screaming or anything like that. I just wanted some spoken word. I wanted you to just tell it like it is. That's all I gave him, and then I sent him the instrumental.
Okay.
I'm gonna read the text messages between me and Lil B right now.
Okay. Please do.
Because it's just fucking comedy. So he sent me his number, and I said, "Can you see it? Is it peering up?"
Yeah. All right. It is.
I said,
little.
I said, yo, what's good with that punk rock feature? He said, let me know. It's good. I said, we got the track ready. He said, since you're 209, it's all love. I got y'all back. Let me know what you can afford. Send right back now. Email me the track. I'm gonna write to it and get back your way tomorrow. Send him a Dropbox link. He said, email me, fam.
Email me, fam.
I'm not trying to dox him right now because he sent all his information.
Our webcam ain't too good for that. So,
and keep in mind, I'm texting him at 2:06 a.m. I sent him. He asked for all our social information, and then I sent him, just send back the isolated track, please. Record's called Roll the Dice. It's about taking chances. We have faith in the process. I guess it's fitting. He said, there's no roll of the dice here. It's just a come up for y'all. Talk tomorrow. You're all good. And I said, thank you, base God. To which he hearted. And then he said, blessings, family. I got you. It's sent. That's how the Lil B feature happened.
Okay.
This legendary rapper.
That's so epic.
We're doing our record release in Berkeley, California, too, which is where he lives.
Oh.
So I'm hoping he shows up, but I doubt it. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well, I hope so. Because that's after this drops. So,
Yes. But also, the rest of the songs, they're very cool as well. But Lil B takes the cake on this whole record.
No, that's fair. What are the other songs called?
There's Take the Risk, which we already just put out, featuring your footage.
That's true.
Spencer. Is it Prize or Priest?
Which do you think it is?
Priest.
Yes.
I knew it.
Everyone thinks prize because of fries, like Fries. It's like, no, it's Priest. Like Priest without the T.
Take the Risk. Filmed by Spencer Priest. Edited by 197 Media. Featuring Take the Risk by These Streets. Produced by the Bass God.
Tell me you heard that.
I did.
Fuck yeah.
There's a late night talk show in America called Late Night with Seth Meyers.
Mm-hmm.
And he does this bit where it's day drinking with Seth Meyers.
He has an ASMR bit?
No. But he has like these really big celebrities and he gets them fucking hammered on live television, which is like, to me, that's just crazy. Their PR people must be like, what's going on? Why are you doing? You know what I mean? But it's like Rihanna fucking hammered drunk on television.
What could go wrong?
And that's how I feel right now. Because I'm kind of fucking drunk trying to do this podcast and promo a record. And so far, I've done nothing but just get drunk. And my band's going to see this and they're going to be like, Ham. And all I'm going to say is, dude, it could have been worse. I promise.
And we all knew the secret word. And you were just like, for these last two, I'm just going to force it.
Well, okay, so if we're being straight here,
mm-hmm.
You know for a fucking fact I was going to avoid that word after it was given up.
Totally.
And
it wasn't as common. I was thinking maybe every 20 minutes. That would be like a pretty good one. And then you did it within 20 minutes.
Yeah. And for some reason I knew it was going to be mosh. When you said the word pertain to hardcore, I was like, what would come up in casual conversation? Anyways, I feel like I'm on that bit right now because I'm kind of.
So you're Rihanna and I'm your Seth Meyers, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, on the smallest scale humanly possible.
On the smallest scale.
Like, we're talking like entry level.
Well,
Everything.
I'll take that as a compliment. If I could get to any level that Seth Meyers at, like, dog, let's go.
I mean, I'm sure he makes a shit ton of fucking money getting drunk with Rihanna.
That's every man's dream, right?
It would be nice, right?
Yeah.
but this is a good time. I'm having a great time right now.
I am as well.
I feel like I'm on Discord right now, just hanging.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like a podcast. Which I'm sure is going to be great for your listeners.
Yes. Well, yeah, I'm sure people are having a blast.
Because I do hate when podcasts are like feel forced, or like you could see the interviewer going, "All right, next question."
Right.
You know what I mean? This is just like the boys.
This is just the boys.
For anybody listening to my words right now, These Streets is a song called "My Boys," and it's about Spencer Priest. Have you ever heard that song?
I don't think so.
Listen to My Boys, bro, because that's why you my boy.
Okay.
Stop fucking calling me. This is the best podcast ever. This is better than Joe Rogan.
It's better than Seth Meyers, better than Joe Rogan. We're shooting for the stars.
This is better than Logan Paul right now, dog.
That's a true compliment. Are you sure you want to go to the grave with that?
I'm giving you that one, dude.
Damn. Okay.
I won't
feel very special. You would put me above your ultimate boy.
Well, I'll put it this way: like when I make These Streets music, I'm not trying to make music for anybody else. I don't care if that sounds selfish. I'm literally just creating my favorite band over and over again.
Mm. You're frozen right now, but I am listening. Can you hear me? Oh no.
Are you still recording?
Yes, of course.
I love this so much. I can't wait till you edit this. But I've been struggling. But I've held on to my thought before we got disconnected.
Okay.
Let me regroup. You didn't even tell me what you were fucking sipping on. What is that?
Oh, it's a Green Demon is what it's called. It's a blue raspberry lemonade sour beer. It's very good.
Sounds so good. I want to shotgun it right now.
Next time I see you, I will make sure that I bring something from New Level, and then you can shotgun it in front of me.
A new level of confidence and power. Clip that. I'm drunk. Okay. So hey, but I'm not stupid because I still remember what I was talking about when we got disconnected.
He's drunk. He don't know maths, but he knows some things. He can remember what he's got to say.
Beat down. Okay. No,
Fuck.
I was talking about your podcast, and I paralleled this interaction between us. Wow, this is hell woke. I paralleled the reaction between us to how I approach creating music.
Sure.
Is that I make music for me and me only.
Mm.
Literally. I don't care if anybody likes my band. Truly. Hella people do, and that's fucking cool as shit, dude. I'll literally be able to be in a casket and be like, yeah, I fucking did something. You know? That made me happy. But I try to make my favorite band. I try to make music that is literally my favorite band. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. The fact that people think it's tight is really fucking cool, and it's what keeps me going. But even if they didn't, I would literally still make this music because I think it's the coolest thing in the fucking world that I can literally grab a guitar and like create my favorite band.
I think, yeah, that's huge because I think a lot of people, like you were saying, they see the real bass shit show and they see 2,000 people and they're like, well, I only have like 20 kids that are coming to my shows, but that's still 20 people. Like, most of the people that you go to your office job or whatever, they couldn't even draw one person to their show, right? So you have to really think of it as like, you got to do shit for yourself, and eventually people are going to group from all these different little pockets that you would have never even expected, and then build your own little army of people who fuck with your music. And
dude, it's the coolest shit in the fucking world.
Straight up.
There is one person I know that has a These Streets tattoo. It's only one person.
Mm.
And if someone else has one, that'd be tight. Send that shit to me. But I know there's at least one person who has our logo tattooed on him, and that's fucking hella cool because that person has a fucking These Streets tattoo.
Yeah.
And even if I did that for one person, that is cool as fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
He's gonna die with that on his body. But the reason I'm relating this is because this podcast is sick as fuck. Because it's like literally what I would want to listen to in a podcast.
I appreciate that, man.
And that's why I listen to your podcast.
You listened to the one with Stu recently? I
was watching it last night.
Yeah.
Dude,
when I finished your last episode, the last thing you said to shout out to Spirit World, the best hardcore band ever, I was like, oh, I just, it's funny. Like Stu's episode is happening and then yours is dropping right after his. It's very serendipitous for that to all get tied together.
Dude, Stu is the guy. He is fucking brilliant. And Folsom, his original band, one of the craziest hardcore bands of all time.
That's sick.
Piss up a row.
Yeah. Yeah. I really appreciate you just being, so supportive. I'm not saying this to knock anybody, but there have been people that have like come on the podcast and then they just like, I don't really see much else from them. And to be fair, at the same time, like I've reached out to bigger people to have them on the show, like I'm sure like it's just a blip for them. They might be catching up with what I'm doing, but I can confidently say that the first time they had you on, that has just blossomed, and we've been able to do a ton of cool shit together. And I hope that we get to do a ton of other cool shit together. Into
it's not over by any means, brother.
Never over.
It's all about just being down.
Be down, absolutely.
I'm hella down for you, bro.
I'm hella down for you too, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what hardcore is about. You could totally stay at any festival I do. Because you're the boy. And I got you on a hotel room.
Yes. Yeah, very nice hotel room. Hooked it up.
Better than most. They still got hotel rooms, player.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I was dude. Like, no, me and my boy Spam, we're gonna live lavish.
Well, dude, this has been really, really fun. The last portion, as you know, is a favorite mosh story to share to wrap up the show. I'm sure there's a plethora of great ones from Northern Alliance, but whatever you got before we officially wrap it up.
A great mosh story?
Yes.
How many guests have you had on that have gotten to the second episode?
Well, that's a good question. I would say under 10.
Did you ask them all to say another mosh story?
Yes.
Okay.
People have mosh stories for days.
You know what? What did I say last time?
I forget.
How can I expect you to remember this when you have a database of fucking mosh stories? I'm sorry. That was a stupid fucking question.
No, you're fine. I literally listened to it today, so that was like the best time to be able to do that.
Story.
Or a good mosh story. Wow.
Okay, since this has been like a reoccurring theme in my life for the past couple weeks, I tweeted this photo of the Turnstile record release of Nonstop Feeling in 2015.
Oh, with the silly string, you did share this story.
Yes. So I'm going to give that story right now.
Oh, okay. You did share this though on the last one.
Did I?
Yes, you did. I'm remembering it.
That's what I shared?
Yeah. You were queuing it up, and it was like, oh,
Man in the Matrix, dude. That was the last one.
I had a red pill this morning. I know everything.
Oh, damn it! What did I talk about? Just that there was silly string. And it was hella fun.
Yeah, I think you were saying like if you were there, you know. You can break it down a little bit.
No. I got this.
Okay.
Anybody who was there knows this. There was a guy who got beat up at least 4 different times.
Oh, okay. You did not share that detail last time.
I don't know who he was, but for some reason, he just kept getting beat the fuck up.
Damn.
Bad. And apparently he knew the guitarist of Deaf Heaven, because the guitarist of Deaf Heaven, Gary McCoy, posted some shit the next day and was like, "This is why I don't go to hardcore shows." My hubby was just enjoying himself and got beat up. But yeah, there was this dude who just kept getting beat up, and he was like, Iron Man.
He was Iron Man.
Dude, yeah. I've never seen a man get beat up 4 times and just like still watch Turnstile.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but Turnstile would be the worst band to get beat up to.
Dude, how are you not enjoying yourself during Turnstile? How are you just
exactly
like so upset that you want to fight someone?
Yeah, a band that I would imagine that would be like Sebulba or like something like that, like super beat down heavy. Not like a happy.
I could see the average concert goer, friend of guitarist Kerry McCoy of Deaf Heaven, not enjoying a super ignorant beatdown show. That makes sense.
But
and
that's the
way that was fucking described, as well as the Instagram post. Why no go get beat up no reason. Obviously, that guy did something stupid to get beat up 4 different times.
Yeah.
There's
like shame on me, shame on you.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice.
Shame on me. Fool me 3 times. I'm an asshole. Fool me 4 times.
4? You just got your ass beat a Turnstile, dog. That's the now stop feeling player.
Facts, dog.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that shit was crazy, bro. Like I just posted a picture of it like recently because that's one of my favorite moments in hardcore ever.
Mm.
That band's not even from California.
Yeah.
Oakland. And they did that little run with Super Heaven, Take Offense, all the cool bands.
Mm.
And it was crazy. That show is permanently ingrained in my memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it came up this time. I don't even remember it coming up last time. I was about to pull up the video and just be like, what did I say last time real quick? You edit that out.
No, but you're good.
Somehow
it's almost like this podcast is just a continuation of our conversation, but continuation of that mosh story. So
yeah, dude. This is tight.
You're tight, dog.
How far did you? How far? I'm fucking down for you, dude. How far did you get into your beer, man?
I'm done. Oh no. There's I got a little neck of it left.
Did you spark that when we started?
It's empty now.
I see you have Audio Technica headphones.
What do you mean?
Me too.
Oh, okay.
I got them young Amazon velour ear pads though. You should invest.
I should invest. Yeah, those look comfy
velour
as fuck.
Ear pad. I'm telling you, bro. It's like wearing.
It's wearing a bed. Is that what you said?
It's like wearing a ham sandwich around your ears.
That doesn't sound nice at all.
Are you kidding? Who doesn't like a ham sandwich?
A lot of people. Even people that don't eat meat don't like ham sandwiches.
Oh, okay. Well, a fake ham sandwich.
Okay. A fake ham sandwich. Now it applies to everyone.
Wearing any sandwich, dude. Honestly, putting like a peanut butter sandwich around your ears sounds tight. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich last night out of like Cinnabon toast bread.
Okay, well that's just Cinnabon that you're like obsessing over. You can't just say that for all breads.
I would love some ciabatta around my ears right now, player. Maybe a nice French bread or Dutch crunch.
A little sourdough.
Some sour D, bruh. Some sour diesel.
Bruh.
Let me tell you, there's nothing like going to Disneyland and getting the For those who haven't been to Disneyland, California Adventure, there's a sourdough factory where you can get like a giant Mickey head.
As bread.
Freshly baked and handed to you.
Okay, well, I'm a big sourdough fan, so I have to check that out next time.
Now, you fuck with the sourdough?
Of course. Why would I bring it up if I don't fuck with it?
Damn it. Well, next time you come to California, go to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco.
Okay.
And get that Young Boudin's clam chowder and are you vegan?
Vegetarian, but
Vegetarian. Damn it, you can't eat fish then.
But
they have like soup. I'm sure they have a fucking soup you could drink.
Sure, okay.
But you get the salad, get the fresh sourdough bread bowl in his fucking
Okay, wait. Last question before we wrap up. Do you drink soup or do you eat soup?
I would inject soup into my veins.
Oh my God.
Preferably pho.
Pho.
Pho
I
is
know
my
you're a big pho guy.
4 times a week player. Give or take.
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
I would literally snort, smoke, inject. I would butt chug pho.
Literally, when we were prepping for this call, you're like, I gotta make sure I talk about the record, and then we're ending on I'll butt chuck pho.
I didn't even talk about the fucking record. I talk about Lil B. The record kicks ass. Go fucking listen to it.
Yeah, it's out now.
I don't need to promo a fucking record here. I'm just hanging out with my boy.
Yeah, but all things aside, roll the dice. These Streets out now. Go listen to it. Upstate Records.
G&D Records.
Northern California hardcore at its finest.
Northern Alliance. G&D Records. Gangsters Never Die Records.
You know the vibes.
That's my record label. I'm just plugging that. I'm just announcing it right now on this podcast.
Oh, okay.
G&D Records is my record label. It's not a joke. I promise.
It's in your bio. And I was like, wait, what's going down?
G&D Records player. Gangsters Never Die. It's the new Death Row, but it's for hardcore.
Love that.
I'm so sorry, Spencer.
No, you're fine. Well,
I can't wait to listen to this.
Me too, honestly. Thanks for tuning in for the podcast.
Okay, bye. Streets, bitch. God, I hope he puts it in.